Hello, I'm Rhianna and welcome to this video. So usually I decide what to read next by watching booktube videos. I really enjoy listening to people talk about books that they really love, and it usually inspires me to read the book too, because I want to feel how they feel about the book. And so I have a very long list of books that I want to read, and those books, most of them, are from watching a booktube video probably. And one of the most popular booktubers on this platform is Jack Edwards, and I enjoy the videos he makes where he reads books, the favourite books of like celebrities. So he reads like Harry Styles' favourite books and Kendall Jenner's favourite books, and yeah, I think it's interesting to read a person's favourite books because you do kind of get an insight into their soul, really. And so I thought in this video I would choose 3 books that Jack Edwards likes and read his favourite books. So I got these 3 books from a video on his channel called The 8 Best Books. He mentioned Sula by Toni Morrison and Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan, which I've already read, and both of those books I enjoyed. And I picked 3 new books that I haven't read from this video to read. And those books are Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson, and Home Fire by Kamila Shamsie, and The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel. And I actually realised all of these books are available on my BorrowBox app, which is an audiobook library app that I use, and so I can read them all on the app, which is really nice. And the one that is available the soonest is Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson, so I'm going to read that. Then I will read Home Fire. Then I will read The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which is not available until the 21st of May on my app. And today is... oh, what is the date today? I think today is like the 15th of May. So I think I have to wait till Tuesday for that one. So that is what I'm going to do. And I'll check back in when I finished Open Water. So hello, welcome back. It's now a bit later in the day and I have finished Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. And it's such a beautiful day today, and I'm very fortunate to have this nice balcony and the sun shines on it in the afternoon. And so I was sat on the balcony in the sunshine listening to an audiobook, and that might be my favourite thing to do. And usually I like to wait a few days before I talk about a book that I've read, because I think sometimes sitting with a book can maybe change your perspective on the book, or make you come to realizations about the book that you need time to come to, because you need the story to kind of rattle around in your head for a bit to fully come to terms with what you thought of it. But I thought I would talk about the book now because I've written down some notes, and I think I have quite a clear idea of what I thought about this book because I really enjoyed it. So this book is a love story, and it's a realistic love story, and those are my favourite kind of love stories to read about. Maybe my favourite kind of stories to read about, period. I really love stories about love, but where the love is portrayed in a naturalistic way, not where the love is painted with pastel colours and is not true to life. And this story very much felt true to life. And the love story was realistic because the 2 people falling in love at times struggle to navigate their love, and they're not sure really how to deal with all the intricate emotions that come with falling in love. And it painted such a brilliant picture of what it is to meet someone, like feel that spark with them, and then kind of try to work out how that relationship is then going to work with them moving forward. And the protagonist in this book is not named. He is referred to as you, so he's written in the second person. And I thought this was a really interesting technique because it really puts you in the shoes of the protagonist and really makes you feel like you are him, like you are living his life, which was very cool. And I've never read a book before where the whole story was written from the second person perspective. And the protagonist struggled to be vulnerable, and I think that's quite a common feeling people can have when falling in love. As humans, it can be difficult to be vulnerable because we don't want ourselves to be hurt. The novel also explored discrimination and what it is like to be black in London in the modern day. And I think the novel explored the kind of heaviness of the world, but also the lightness of love, and how love can ease the pain that being alive brings. And it's written really beautifully. There is a clearness to the prose, and it feels like every word was really thought about. And I really like this quote from the novel that connects to the title, and it's, "You have always thought if you opened your mouth in open water you would drown, but if you didn't open your mouth you would suffocate. So here you are, drowning." Hello, welcome back. So it's a few days later and I have now finished Home Fire by Kamila Shamsie. So I'm actually glad that I waited a few days after finishing this book to talk about it, because I feel like in the past few days this book has been stuck in my head and I've been thinking about it a lot, and it hasn't necessarily changed my view of the book, but it's increased my appreciation of it, because I think it's very thought-provoking and does kind of alight your thoughts with discussion. And this book is from multiple perspectives, and sometimes I don't like that so much in books, because I really like to know one particular character really, really well, and to like sort of have a character study on that character, rather than have like multiple different character studies. But this book's worked so well. You really come to understand each character even though you're only with them for a section of the book. And each character is also connected. So we have 3 characters from one particular family, and then we have 2 characters from another family. So we have the Pasha family, we have Ishma, Annika and Pervez, and they are all siblings. Then we have the Home Secretary, and we also have his son Aemond. And I think the purpose of this novel is really an analysis of empathy and an analysis of the dangers of hate. I think this novel challenges your empathy and encourages you to feel empathy for everyone, no matter their situation, and tries to show how small things can have a domino effect. For example, so Ishma meets Aemond in America, and Aemond is going back to London, where Ishma is from and where Ishma's sister Annika is. And Ishma gives M&Ms to Aemond to give to her sister back in London. So Aemond goes to London and goes to see Annika, and that small act has such an effect on the rest of the novel and such an effect on Aemond and Annika's life. And I liked how such a small thing kind of escalated into this big crescendo moment at the end of the novel. And I think it's a very ambitious novel, a very, very cleverly constructed novel. And I typically don't like political novels because I find it a bit depressing, because isn't the political landscape a bit depressing? But I think this novel was really well done. And it's actually based on the play Antigone too, which I don't know a lot about, so I can't speak much to its relation to Antigone. But I think that is very interesting, because Antigone is very, very old, and the themes in that are still relevant when put to a modern context, and that's cool. Hello, so it's now sometime later. I went to Düsseldorf at the weekend, which was nice. Now I'm back in Berlin, and yesterday I finished The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. And on the surface, this novel has a simple plot. It is about a teacher called Miss Jean Brodie in the 1930s in Edinburgh, and she teaches a group of girls, and as the girls grow and learn, as their teacher, she helps them develop and influences them as people. However, despite this idea being fairly simple, this novel is packed with a lot of complex ideas, which I suspected when listening to Jack Edwards' thoughts on this book, because he mentioned how it looked at the theme of Calvinism. And Calvinism is kind of the idea that there is no free will and your fate is already determined for you, which is illustrated and explored in the novel through how the Brodie set, which is the group of girls that Miss Jean Brodie teaches, their fate is told to us. So we already know that where they will end up, because there are these flash forwards in the novel. So for example, near the beginning of the novel, we meet one of the Brodie set named Mary, and we find out that she dies in a fire at 23. So even though now she's a schoolgirl at school, we already know like her outcome. And I thought that was really interesting, that we find out like what happens to these characters early on. Like we already know their fates. There's also a lot of ideas in this novel about sexuality. The Brodie set are very interested in Miss Brodie's romantic life. They gossip about it a lot and imagine about it a lot, which I think would have been quite common at the time because this novel was written in the 1960s and set in the 1930s. And I think the probably education on this front wasn't particularly efficient or in existence. I thought it was kind of quite sweet that the Brodie set are kind of eager to discover more about Miss Brodie and her life, because of course women at the time would have also had more traditional lives where they were married and had children, but Miss Jean Brodie sort of bucks this trend. And on the topic of Miss Jean Brodie, she is a very interesting character, and I think I still haven't quite worked her out. She is quite eccentric and funny, and she has this great quote in the novel, which is, "To me, education is a leading out of what is already in a pupil's soul," which I really like. And yeah, I think I haven't sat with this novel enough to really comb through all the ideas that it's exploring. And I think it's one of those books that could really be studied in class and could be really good for a book club, because I think even though it's a short book, there's a lot to discuss about it. Okay, so that is the end of the video. I think overall I really enjoyed all three of these books. Very well crafted. I think all of these books have a unique writing style, unique characters. All the writers are at the top of their game, really. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching this video. I love making these videos and hope to make more. I'm sat at my keyboard right now because I just wrote a music theme for If We Were Villains by Emma Rio, which should be up in a few days. And I will see you in another video soon. Bye bye.